Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Scares. That's right, we're moseying it right along in our daily journey through the nightmares with the second film in the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, aptly named I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer takes two of our leads from the last film, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., to the Bahamas. But while there, they mysteriously get the message that somebody out there still knows what they did last summer. And that's when all the mayhem ensues. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you get when you take a writer and a director, two different people with extensive backgrounds in specifically writing and directing episodic television shows like CSI, more so than movies? You get an episode of TV. And that is what you have with I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which is just painfully mediocre. Well, what do I mean by that? I mean, what makes this an episode of TV versus a film? Honestly, exposition. This film acts like a continuation of a TV show where just more crazy things happen, as if people are carrying on the same conversations that they started in the first episode without reminding people of what that conversation was. There is no exposition reminding the viewers at home of what the first movie was about, who the killer was, why he was hunting down these people, or most hilariously, what these people actually did last summer. It doesn't remind you of any of this, because it just acts like episode 2. And that really aggravated me, because all that actually did was strip the film of any real meaning or weight and left it with a very by-the-books and meaningless slasher film structure. Not only that, but one of the biggest aspects of that first film, one of the biggest things that made it what it was the red herrings. It was unpredictable because everybody looked guilty. Anybody could be the killer, and you really just had no idea what would happen next. It was honestly just a fun time. But by the end of the film, you discovered who was doing it, why they were doing it, and all that. And a movie called I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I mean, you can pretty much assume the red herrings are gone because we already know who to look for now, and nobody really seems guilty anymore. Once again, that makes this a by-the-books slasher film, and ultimately, I just didn't care so much about anything or any of the people in the film because everything was simply shallow and on the surface slasher kill stuff. It's just annoying to me. On its own, I guess you could shut off your brain to it, leave it playing on in the background, especially if you're a fan of horror, because a lot of people still do like plain old slasher films. I mean, just look at the three biggest slasher icons on the planet. You got Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers. I mean, heck, you could even throw Chucky into the mix. The point is, on its own, it's not a horrible movie. It's just, when you compare it to the first, that's when you immediately notice the faults that it has. That means when I look at my unbiased score, you really don't have much to praise here. Lots of by-the-book structure that you find with any slasher film. That means it's unoriginal. The performances are sometimes flat. There's not really any real character growth, and yeah, what you're left with, essentially, is just some fun kills, and that's about it. Meaning my technical score isn't that great at 58%. My bias score is a little bit higher because, I'm not going to outright call it crap. I was at least partially invested in the movie. I had a good enough time with it. I just wish it was more than what it ultimately was. This score is 72%. So when we combine the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 65%. 65 out of 100 possible stars, or a C+ letter grade. I hope for the best when it comes down to I'll always know what you did last summer. Hopefully they learn from their mistakes this time around and they're able to do something different with the story. There's always the possibility, given how this one specifically ended, but only time will tell. Guys, are you a fan of the series? And if so, what are, some of your general thoughts on I Still Know What You Did Last Summer? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the